Now guys, I can't think of anything more unsexy than talking about taxes. But we're going to do it anyway. But let's talk about this week first. Hey, what's up, bookworms? Mike coming at you with another weekly update where tax season is in full effect here in the States. But yeah, it's kind of been affecting everything on the channel along with car shopping and other things. But we'll get to that in a minute, guys. We're going to talk about the week that was and the week that will be. And we're going to start like we usually do by talking about what am I reading. Guys, I finished The Great Train Robbery by Mr. Crichton. Just like I said last week, every bit as good as it was in my memory. Very fantastic. And I think that with Crichton, this one is instead of bogging you down, I don't want to say bog you down because I think that's what makes him great. He doesn't bog you down with the science. Instead of going all in on the science, he kind of goes all in on history of that time period in this. And he does it in a way that only he could do it, to where it feels very accessible to the reader. And there's all kinds of things packed in this book that I think a lot of people that are on the first time read weren't really expecting. But yeah, I've had a lot of people tell me of the first three books, that's Terminal Man, Andromeda's Strain, and The Great Train Robbery. The Great Train Robbery has surprisingly been their favorite. Like I said, in my memory, it was very good, and I think I liked it even more on this reading. So guys, again, all three of these, you could read these in a weekend. It looks like a big old beefy thing, but just because it's three books. But yeah, very easy reads, very easy first steps into Mr. Crichton if you haven't done it yet, and we're going to start getting into the heavy hitters going forward. But I'll be doing a review of Great Train Robbery sometime later this month, and if you've been following the channel all, you know I've been hyped about this one. Hyped for Hyperion. Hyperion hype! I finished it, guys. I started it on Monday. I finished it Thursday afternoon, and yeah, it was every bit as exciting and thrilling as I had hoped it would be. Sometimes when you hype something up this much, and then you finally get to it, and it kind of doesn't meet the hype. Not the case with this one. I know the word hype is going to come up a lot when we're talking about Hyperion, but it exceeded my expectations, and I'm trying not to put so much recency bias on it, but I was like, right now, gun to my head, you're telling me what's my second favorite science fiction book of all time? This might be it, behind just Dune. I think I liked it more than I liked Ender's Game. So this is crazy that I had this level of expectations going in, and it actually kind of exceeded them. I just love the storytelling structure that he uses in this. Some of the stories not as good as the others, but I felt like they were all good. You know what? Every one of them were different, and it helped to differentiate each one of those characters in that story. And it goes from like your mind is blown kind of stories to like you're fighting off the tears. There's some stuff in there that's really deep. So I'll be doing that review very, very soon here in April before we do Fall of Hyperion in May. There are a lot of people on the Discord that are reading along with it, and I just hope that they're enjoying it even a third as much as I did, because I loved it. I can't wait to see where it goes next. And yeah, quite a cliffhanger. I wish I just went ahead and did both of these in a month, but no, I'm not going to skip over the Malazan book this month. But yeah, very good. I'm very excited that it has met and exceeded those expectations, and I hope that it's doing the same for you guys that are deciding to read along. It's I think that you'll find plenty to like there. Let's move along, guys, to what am I going to read? So now I finished that, and I was like, well, I can't just like drive home and not read anything. So I went ahead and started Dark Matter by Mr. Blake Crouch, a book that has come highly recommended. In fact, I talked about this in my my TBR video, and I was stunned at how many people were like, that book is amazing, right? Read the first chapter, and it's a very cool setup. It really is a very good start. It does not really... there's nothing slow about it at all. It really starts off. I mean, this is my first Blake Crouch book, so I wasn't really sure what to expect. I mean, you know what? He looks exactly like you would expect, though, don't he? Look at that. He looks like he'd be somebody on the Discord server. Anyway, yeah, very cool start. So I'm interested to see where this is going to. Like I said, the Michael Crichton comparison is always one that's always been kind of like, all right, well, let's not put too high of expectations on Mr. Crouch here. But Recursion and Dark Matter, I've heard nothing but amazing things about both of them, and I still don't know what's going on in this book. But the setup is very, very, very good, and yeah, anxious to see where it goes next. I wasn't going to start that this weekend, but you know me, I can't just like go without reading something. Then after I finish that, we'll be doing Artificial Condition. This is the second book in Murderbot, and yes, you do know probably by now that I thought that All Systems Red was just okay. But these are small enough. I don't feel like there's so much of a risk to keep going to see if I like them a little bit better. I have had some people tell me that. Yeah, if you really weren't clicking with the Murderbot in the first one, that you might not really get into the series at all. I'm going to kind of go into it now just with those expectations of maybe try to grasp this humor a little more, because I didn't find anything really funny in the first book. Everyone kind of made it sound almost like the android from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy or something in that first one. I was like, I didn't get any of that in this, but we'll see. Just a character study, I think that would be a much more interesting expectations than it's hilarious, because I wasn't laughing. And then the big one, guys, and this should finish out May. That's going to be Memories of Ice, or I'm sorry, April into May. Look at this big boy. Yeah. I got people in the Discord that are saying they're knocking out like 100 pages a day on this. I don't know how. Maybe I'll see when I get there. But I mean, 100 pages of a Malazan book is like reading this book. I think it's a lot. So we'll see how fast. I know a lot of people said it is the easiest to read of the first three, and I'm like, but it's still gigantic though. It still has that that 6-point font there. So excited, because I think everyone in the Malazan community just loves this book. I don't think I haven't heard everybody say it's their favorite, but I haven't heard anybody say they didn't like this a lot. So I'm excited to see what does happen with this, and I'm glad there are still so many of you still on board that read along. There was a lot of people who bailed during Deadhouse Gates, or they bailed and then they changed their mind. They went ahead and finished it. They said, I'm going to do like I said I do. I give it the first 3 and then decide. It sounds like the make or break book, and we're going to find out how many people that makes, because I'm in it till the end, and I hope that you guys will be too. Let's talk a little bit about this week on the channel. Went ahead and wrapped up March. I think wrap-up videos are always fun, just to kind of gauge the growth of the channel, how things are going with that. It's a good way to talk about what was the most popular for the month, what worked, what didn't work, that kind of thing. I always have a good time with that. Then maybe spotlight a couple of the videos that I like that maybe didn't get a lot of views or something like that. Just something I like to do. I'm a data guy. I love to crunch numbers and things like that. And I love to be transparent and share that things with you guys. And March was a better month than February. And let's see if April can top March. That's always the best way to do it when you're goal-oriented. I went ahead and moved up my book haul this month, because what I'll talk about in a minute here. I got some things going on in real life. But I moved up the book haul. And those are always very, very popular. I think people seem to like that. Lots of incredibly generous gifts from you guys once again. And I'm going to make sure that I put the spotlight on that and let you guys know how much I really do appreciate. If you want to send me anything, no matter how big, how small, it's all great to me. I think that's just amazing that I've influenced your life enough that you feel like you'd like to send me something. That's really, really great. If I give people 1 ounce of entertainment, 1 minute of your day better, then I have done my job here. And that's kind of what I'm here to do. And then I only did one kind of, not fluffy video this week. That was why I decided to read the Hyperion Cantos, which I just talked about. And it really, long story short, guys, I really like the cover because I saw it when I was like 12 and I loved it. It really is that simple. But there's a little bit more story behind that. And I have to say so myself. That's one of my favorite intros that I've ever done. So I hope you'll check it out at least for that, because I love making those intros. And when other people say, that the intro alone influenced them to buy a book, hey, I feel like I've done my job, selling it to you. But the review will be a little different, I think, than the wide-sided read, because there's so much to talk about with that book, so much to unpack, and I cannot wait to do it. Do have some plans for next week. Now, I want to kind of put this out there, guys. I do realize that the content's been a little fluffy lately. And what I mean by that is no real deep dives or anything. It's been like, book haul, TBR, things like that. I haven't really been diving really deep lately, and that's because there's a lot going on in real life. We were car shopping. Like I said, car shopping kind of takes everything out of you. We finally did decide on one, and were able to swing a really, really good deal, and we did get the car that we wanted, and we're very happy with that. I think my wife has not stopped smiling since. If you guys saw what she traded in, you probably understand. It was definitely time. Also, it's tax time in the States here. This is the last week before taxes are due. I do work in the business, so things are going to be hectic a little bit for me. So that's going to kind of dominate a lot of my time. So that's why I've kind of had to move up some of these, as I call them, kind of fluffy things. It's either that or no content. And I thought that I would, you know what? I think that the viewers will appreciate some nice, breezy, fluffy stuff over nothing. You know, so next week I'm going to try to do a couple of things. It's going to be my 2-year anniversary on Monday of running this BookTube channel. So I wanted to put together a video to just kind of talk about that and answer some FAQ that I usually get about booktubing. You know, like how did you begin? What should I do? Like lots of people ask for advice. Lots of people drop in my messages and ask me for advice on starting a booktube channel. Like, look, I don't know everything. I mean, this is still a relatively small channel, but sure, I'll tell you what's worked for me as a business major, as a marketing major. I can tell you what I feel like has worked for me and what not to do. You know, I feel like telling you what not to do is probably better advice than telling you what to do. But it's something that I have no problems doing. If people want to some guidance on how to get going as a booktuber, I love to encourage others to do that. That's why I like to shout out all those smaller channels, because I like to see people, you know, be creative and put themselves out there. Because, you know, let's be honest, a lot of bookworms are real introverts, and it takes a lot for them to get in front of a camera and do stuff like this. So any way that I can be encouraging like that, even if it's just saying, hey, here's what try this, I'm happy to do it. If you have no interest in being a booktuber, I hope you'll watch the video anyway. Then I'm going to do another, like I said, kind of a fluffy one here. This is I like to plan about a good 12 to 14 to 16 months in advance with what I'm reading. So yes, guys, it is time. We are in April. It's time to talk about some new series that I want to start in 2022 and beyond. Now, what I mean by that is, and beyond is after this bad boy, after this series ends. You know, I'm not picking up any really heavy, dense, long series until I'm done with Malazan. But there are some other ones that I want to kind of fit in next year that are like trilogies or less or something like that. Just some things I think that will be good complement to some of those things. Now, there are a couple things that are hard set on the schedule already. If you're on the Discord, you already know about these because we've already got some read-alongs planned for them. But there are some other series on there that I haven't talked much about yet that I think I'm going to try to, either if I don't fit them in next year, I'll be fitting them in the year after that. And I know that's really looking forward, but guys, I like to do that. I like to plan ahead, or else a lot of these series I got will just kind of disappear into obscurity if I don't say, okay, well, these are in the plans for this year, and then these are in the plans for this year. Because you know there's always going to be something that sneaks up and something that falls out. So I got it kind of set up in tiers, ones that are already hard set on the schedule, ones that I am definitely going to fit in sometime in 2022, and then ones that's like, okay, if I don't get to them in 2022, I'll get to them in 2023, and that's going to be like some of your bigger ones like Black Company and things like that. But yeah, that's always a fun video to make because I feel like it gives you an opportunity to talk about a lot of series that I haven't covered yet on the channel, and people always asking, when are you going to read this? You know, this gives them my idea of you know, when I plan to do these things. And I can't wait to hear the series that I didn't put on there that you guys are mad about. It's always fun. Then I will actually be doing a review if I find the time, guys. I will be doing the long-awaited review for the third book in the Farseer trilogy. This is Assassin's Quest by Robin Hobb. Yes, if you've been hanging around the channel much, you know that I was not so high on this book, so it'll be a little bit of a challenging review because I'd say it's kind of balanced. I feel like there's just as much good as there is bad in that book for me, so it's going to be a little more balanced. It's not going to be straight just like hate or something if that's what you're wanting. I definitely didn't hate it, just had a lot of problems with it, and I'm going to talk about why. You know me, I'm going to be fair about it, and you guys know that I love Miss Hobbs' writing style. I think she's a great storyteller. Maybe she just kind of took a little too long to get to the point with this one, and we're going to talk about that. Now, guys, before I go, there are a couple of TV and movie things. Godzilla versus Kong came out, and it was actually really, really good. Now, this is going to be my non-spoiler for those who haven't seen it, but I do want to kind of talk about a couple of things. First, what I said was, I don't care about the rest as long as the fight is good. The fight is good. The fight is very good. The special effects are incredible. I think back to watching the Godzilla versus King Kong that I watched as a kid that was from the 60s. I mean, I was in the 80s, but they were showing it on syndication. So I'm not that old, guys. But yeah, it's hilarious to go back and look at that and think, wow, my kids have no idea how lucky they are to see this, which looks amazing, you know. But there was a clear-cut winner. That's what I was afraid of. And it was hard for me not to look at this and be like, I wish this was the way that Batman v Superman had done it. There was a clear-cut winner, and then things escalate to something else, and you'll see what that is. But yes, there was a very clear-cut winner, no argument. You really can't argue about it at all. Yes, the human stories are like they always are. Look, this is a traditional thing in King Kong and Godzilla movies since forever. The human story is not that interesting. We want to see the monsters punch each other. But you can't do that for 2 hours or it would just get exhausting. So I get why they did it. My biggest problem with it was, if you watch Kong Skull Island, obviously that took place in the Vietnam era, so that's a little different. But if you watch King of Monsters and you watch the 2014 Godzilla movie, whatever, it seemed like it was pretty much set in today's age, today's technology. And this almost looks like it jumps about 100 years in technology, like overnight. And it's just like, okay. I was like, okay, so there's even like these secret societies, like say Elon Musk has like all this hidden technology that we don't know about. Are we really going to go from, electric powered cars to like basically spaceships? I mean, like overnight? It was really surprising to me that they decided to do that. But again, if you're just there for the WWE fight, it's good, and you're going to be satisfied with it. And if you got kids, they're going to love it, dude, because, my kids were just watching the screen and doing this the whole time. They were loving it. It was really, really great. Good family movie, and HBO Max just continues to just rake it in. I mean, this movie is it's the biggest movie since the pandemic, obviously, so people are hungry for new movies. And that brings me to the other HBO Max one. We got a trailer for James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. Now, look, I think I've gone on record about how I feel about this vision of the DC universe. I haven't been crazy about it, but I did like Zack Snyder's Justice League, and of course that's non-canon. So there you go. But with the Suicide Squad, I was like, look, I'm going to give it a chance because it's James Gunn. I love Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 and Volume 2. Don't care if you don't. I love it. Those are my favorite Marvel movies, are the Guardians of the Galaxy. I love them so much. They're basically like my Star Wars replacement, since I don't feel like Star Wars is that Star Wars anymore. But yeah, those two, me and my kids have watched so many times. So I was going to watch anything James Gunn did next. I didn't care for the first Suicide Squad that much, but this looks pretty funny. But again, if it was on HBO Max, I wouldn't be paying to see it just because I don't trust Warner Brothers right now. But the trailer looked very, very funny. If you're a wrestling fan, seeing John Cena in that role is just hilarious. The cast just seems fantastic. And yeah, I don't care if it's just straight Guardians of the Galaxy, but with Suicide Squad characters. Bring it on. More of that. It looks quirky and weird. It even has Doctor Who in it, man. So that's just so cool. But a lot of people have said, I hope those aren't the best jokes. I'm not worried about it being funny in a James Gunn movie. I'm not worried about that at all. He's probably not going to waste all the good jokes in the trailer. But the beach full of dicks thing, that was pretty funny to me. And I don't know if that's just because, being a wrestling fan and seeing John Cena say those things is just hilarious, because, he's basically been this version of Hulkamania, say your prayer and eat your vitamins, hustle, loyalty, and respect. So seeing him like use bad language is funny to me. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But it looks good. But again, if it wasn't for HBO Max, I'd be Redboxing this one day, or wait until it's on Netflix or something. So I will be watching it because it's on HBO Max. So HBO Max doing that. Then they got Mortal Kombat. I think HBO Max is going to have a huge year because they're putting out blockbuster movies. And did I forget to tell you they're putting Dune out in October? So yeah, it's going to be a huge year for that streaming app, and I think that they're well on their way, man. They are doing well, and they continue to put out some good original programming. I think they can be that third wheel out there behind Amazon and Netflix. Sorry Hulu, sorry Peacock, sorry whatever. That's just kind of just not room for a fourth wheel there, I don't think. We'll see. So guys, what were you up to this week? Drop in the comments. Let me know what you're reading. Let me know what you're watching, what you're playing, what you're listening to, any of those things, and have yourselves an awesome weekend and do your taxes.